Hello, my hearties. A very, very good evening to you. It's just me, Scottie McClue, and we are, of course, live on the big one. Now, you need to let me know if you can see me and hear me. Always that's the one. A very warm welcome. I know you'll be doing lots and lots of different things at the moment, getting ready for Crimbo. Oh, yes. Do you like the gear, by the way? I hope you do, because it's got to go back. Oh, you can't see my Diamante. Marvelous stuff. So Dinky-Doo with that. That's what I see. And a very, very warm welcome. You're watching Scottie McClue, First Lord of the Internet. Hashtag FLOTI, all uppercase. And with slightly new background tonight. Very, very nice. So there you go. And if you can let me know what's happening here, I can see when you're in. There we go. Lovely, lovely. Good evening, Scottie, says Susan. Good evening, Susan. And lovely to have you with us. And can you see us and hear us, Susan? You're actually a very, very good guide for checking the levels. We'll also get the phones working tonight, so that should be okay, I tell you. So there we are. So do let me know, Susan, if you can see us and hear us, if you can hear and see Scottie McClue. That would be wonderful. Dinky-Doo, I say to every single one of you, I should have actually sent out an alert to say that we would be live at 9 o'clock. There's George. Good evening, Scottie. Happy Christmas. You too, George. How lovely to have you with us. I hope you're Dinky-Doo. Let us know where you're watching from, George, because that makes the show so much more interesting. Susan says, I can see and hear you, Scottie. And is it nice and clear, Susan? That's the thing. We're looking for clarity all the time. I say, clarity, clarity. There we go. Yes, loud and clear, Scottie. Jerry, #1 van driver. Jerry, you are such a top man. I tell you. There we are. You and the cat and little Coco and the girls. I tell you. From Donegal, says George. George, you're in Donegal. What a fine part of the world that is now. I tell you. Susan says, yes, it's clear. Excellent stuff. Murray's joined us. Good evening, Scottie. I've been in my bed since Wednesday with the flu. I might need a loud toddy tonight. Now, no, Murray, apparently not with the flu. It's okay for the cold, but you need all your strength, and you don't want floored. You don't want your liver working on a loud dram. I tell you. Thanks, Scottie. Hi, all. Dinky-Doo. No bother, Jerry. Dinky-Doo, I say to you. There we are. Do you like the Christmas jumper? I'm not sure if you can see it. I'm going to take the camera down a little bit because we've got there we are. We've got Santa on the jumper. I tell you. There we are. Hi, Jerry and Susan. Excellent stuff. Wonderful. Now, Murray, you need to look after yourself. That's the thing. You've been overdoing it work-wise. So you need a lot more leisure. I've decided. I tell you. So there you are. That's you. That's you telt now. I like your hat, Scottie. Do you like it? I thought it'd be quite nice, Susan, just given the time of year, because if you think about it, we probably won't all be together before Christmas now, because we've got Christmas Eve. What have we got? This is the 21st. 3 days to Christmas Eve. Good evening, Mr. McClue, says the wonderful Roy Michael. Happy Christmas and a wonderful new year. Dinky-Doo, much respect you. God bless you. You too, Roy Michael. Big respect to you. And this YouTube channel is, people are loving it. I was going to say we're doing big business, but I'm not monetized. So there we are. But we do have the top movies for you. And I like that. If you've just joined us, feel free to subscribe. Go down to the bottom left. Give us a thumbs up. All right, bottom left, thumbs up. There's the wonderful D. Gourlay. Nice to see you, sir. You too, D. You need to give us a call. Have you got the number? 01416289795. Oh, and the line should be open. There we go. So, Murray, that's you tell big style. I tell you. We do everything big style on Scottie McClue, as you very well know. Now, I want to know how you feel things are for Christmas. What could be improved? Are we also remembering the message of the Christ child? Yes, indeed. There we go. Jerry says, great picture, Scotty. Enjoyed our chat while I was out the other day. Absolutely, Jerry. Quality chat. Really cool. You're a man of great quality. And I was just very sorry I hadn't managed to catch up with you. John Donnelly says, Dinky-Doo, Solstice Day. Now, let's talk a bit more about the solstice. What does that mean to everyone? How aware is everybody of the solstice? So this will be the winter solstice. Nothing gets past me, you know, I tell you. And they would be at Stonehenge. I worry about the people that look after Stonehenge, because I think when the clocks go back or forward, do they have to move all the stones round? You know, because we think is it a clock? Is it a sundial? Does anybody know what Stonehenge is all about? There we go. Now, I'm in bed, same as Murray, with a very nasty flu, says D. We catch up very soon. Yes, but you're not in the same bed as Murray. You'll be in a separate one, I tell you. But same as Murray, I get it. Yes, indeed, with the flu. Now, have people been having their flu jab? Is that a good thing? Let's have some experience of that. Be quite interesting. And see if this is an Algians thing or if it can just affect everybody. The times I've had the flu absolutely floored me. And there's usually a wee aftershock left over. You think, oh, my chest's not so good since I've the flu. There we are. Yes, separate beds. Good one, D. What do you make of the drones fleeing about New Jersey? Well, Donald Trump was interviewed about the drones. And he said that the government was aware of what was going on. And then somebody, I don't know why journalists never learn. They said, you know, have you had a briefing from the intelligence services? Well, he's not going to talk about that. He goes, I can't comment. You know, crazy stuff. Flew away to a hotter country, Scotty. Jerry, absolutely. But the flu is not... it's not a good thing. Everybody watching, go down to the bottom left and give me the thumbs up. Is it that way? Thumbs up, I tell you. There we go. Now, do you get a hot toddy, says Jerry. No, Jerry, I don't think a hot toddy's for the flu. I think a hot toddy's for the cold, you see. But the flu you need to watch because it can put your liver under a wee bit of pressure. And I think maybe a loud dram, as Murray calls it, might be too much for the liver. Move over a bit, D, says Murray. Well, you know what they say? First pull of the clothes. There we go. I tell you, Jerry's shouting, D, move over. Don't tell me everybody's in the same bed, for goodness sake. People go, that used to be a saying. They would say, well, you'll all be in the same bed. I'll tell you the way you're going on. You know, and what was it? What did one strawberry say to the other? If we hadn't been in the same bed together, we wouldn't be in this jam now. Yes, indeed. Get well soon, dear Murray, says Susan. Bunk beds, says Jenny. The bunk beds. Which is the most popular bunk beds, bottom or top? I had to quite recently go to a top bunk. I wasn't in the big house or anything. It was friends at a top bunk, and I had my bare feet. And because I'm not the lightest man in the world, the ladder was digging into my feet. Going up to the top bunk, you're bound to get shot at. That was one, everybody getting told off, good old Scottish style. They would say, well, I don't know. I mean, because I was friendly with old Jimmy so-and-so, I think these people were lumping me in with them, you know. Well, if you fly with the crows, you're bound to get shot at. So watch the company you keep. You'll be all right, Murray, because you keep McClue style company. Quality. Top bunk. At the top bunk, no, it was digging into my feet when I was going up to the top bunk. And when people used to phone from the big house, well, they didn't phone from the big house, but they would phone and say, Scotty, don't think people in the jail are no bright. A lot of very clever people in the jail. And I would say, well, if they're that clever, what are they doing in the top bunk? You know, so it's a thought, isn't it? I tell you. Now, I want to know, are you all ready for Crimbo? What sort of things are you up to? What are you doing over Christmas? Are people getting out and about? Obviously, you know, Murray and poor old D will have to get over the flu. That stuff, they'll be a bit sniffly. It's a strange one, the flu, because when you get it, you feel you can't eat a thing. You know, what's it they used to say? Feed a cold and starve a fever. And then suddenly, you know, it's left you. When somebody says, can I get you anything? Do you know what? I wouldn't mind a wee bit scrambled egg on toast. And that's it. That's when people start changing. Working till Christmas Eve, Scotty. Jerry, I do really take my hat off to me. Take my hat off to you, because you are some grafter. I tell you, you are some grafter. And do you know, it's a Scottish thing. I think Christmas is more of an English thing in the UK than a Scottish thing, because I can remember my dad working Christmas Day, the first bit of it. I mean, of course, when I was on the telly and the radio, we used to work Christmas Day. We didn't mind, because you got well rewarded for it, and there was usually like bowls of nuts and crisps and fizzy pop, the lashings of ginger beer for those that worked Christmas. I think New Year's more Scottish, says D. Exactly, D. That's what it's about. Yes, indeed. Sensible lady, D. Lovely person. I so enjoy your brogue. Thank you from Northwest Georgia in USA. Have a merry. Looking forward to your observations and film viewing advice. Are you enjoying the movies? Because I choose them myself, especially with you good people in mind. So that's why it says this movie has been chosen especially for you by legendary worldwide broadcaster Scottie McClue, First Lord of the Internet. So there you are. You like my Scottish brogue, Joy. What's happening in the States, Joy? Is everybody ready for the new president? Yes, great movies, says Jerry. There's the wonderful Joanna has just joined us. Mwah! Bonsoir, Joanna. I tell you, Joanna Slater. Topswahey's just joined us. Good evening, Scotty and all. Topswahey, I can't thank you enough for that wonderful call last week, testing out the equipment. And then we got it sorted. You'll never guess what it was. Well, you might do. I told you when I ran it past an expert, he went, something's been improved. Good evening from Joe and Sue. Love the hat. Do you like the hat? And this is pure Diamante. We had to have the bodyguards, you know, get it from the safe. I hope it's not going to fall off. We need to put it back in the safe afterwards. You know, I tell you, glad to be of service, Scotty. No, Topsway, it was brilliant. People were doing the nut. They were going, oh, you're taking up time in the show to. I thought, well, we need to sort it if we've got a problem. You see, I think one of the big attractions of this show is the fact that we are up front. You know, I am just Mr. Person. I am a geezer, and I like to look after my audience. You know, as I said to you before, nowadays, there's no monetization of the YouTube channel. So I'm not making anything out of all this, but I like doing it because I love us all getting together. I think it's great stuff. And I'll tell you another thing I love. I said to a boss one day, said, I don't know why you do all this. I said, I do it for the people. I said, there we are, 32 years last week and 30 years since Scott FM, Scotland's finest radio hour, without a shadow of doubt. I don't know if we'll ever see anything as good as Scott FM again. And like all things, when they work very well, somebody comes in and ruins it. Something's been improved. Yes, indeed. Jerry, yes, we all love the Trump. Get him to run the UK, Scotty. I know what it was, Scotty, the sound, but I'm not telling Jerry. I could trust you with my life. You know, I tell you, Joy, may I say, if I were not 72, I would move to the Azores for the rest of my life, not anticipating a USA New World Order. Well, Joy, you heard it here first, right? And I'll keep my voice down because we don't want the big wigs listening in. But I don't think you'll find there will be a new world order. I think you'll find that President Trump will sort out the baddies. So don't worry too much. And the Azores, you know, well, 72. What's that got to do with it? I heard about a gentleman that had run an education college, and they invited him back to run another one, and he said, "I'm 70 for God's sake." And they said to him, "What's that got to do with it?" I mean, I might go back to my work in the new year, you know what I mean? I tell you, Scott FM was amazing, says D. Shocking what happened to you. Their loss and downfall. And you know, D, it was nothing I had said or done. They just thought to themselves, this guy's too popular. How do we control him? Tell you what, Scrappy's show. See how he gets on then. Well, that day I went home, the phone was going daft. Press from all over the UK, press from all over the world. What's happened? What's happened? Because the internet was just starting to come in and the show was gaining huge popularity. And one big boss phoned me and said, "What happened?" I said, "I don't know." He went, "Well, I can't start you tomorrow. It's going to be Thursday now." I think this was Tuesday. And we went on and, dare I say, doubled my money, you know. I don't know, Jerry. It's fine on now. What have we got? What happened to D. Susan? Scotty, you cheer people up, says Emerald, and you make me smile when you smile. Well, I'll give you a smile. It's the genuine smile. Actually, there is apparently a kind of person that has a smile. Fortunately, not me. And that smile's a scary type smile. Have you ever experienced somebody like that? They used to say that Lord John Reith, that started the BBC, I said he had a lovely smile. They went, "Oh, the smile." You had to watch yourself when you saw the smile. Interesting, isn't it? And I'll tell you another thing. You know, if somebody's sad, doing sad, happy, happy, you know, but if you went like this, you went, "I'm very angry." There's something wrong if you come across that one. I tell you. You're the best, Scotty. You can't change a thoroughbred. Jerry, are you not such a beautiful person? I can tell you this. If you're ever backing a horse, don't back too much of a thoroughbred, because he's so posh when he goes out the starting gate, he'll stop and shut it behind him. I tell you. Did you have to move house when Scott FM failed, or could you use an ADSL? So Tatswahi, from your extant abode. No, I'll tell you what I had in those days. There wasn't ADSL. What was it called? ISDN, Digital Network. And there was a box of tricks that meant that you could be in any studio. But the rules in radio at the time were something like a big phone-in had to come from the area, yeah, or from roundabouts. What I managed to do was, after I moved from Scott FM, working within 2 days, so say double the money, great offer. And what I would do was network so I could be heard all over the country. So the stations networked me. I mean, really big stations said right away, come to us, we'll network you. And that was it. So I was going out to Liverpool, to Leeds, Sheffield, to Manchester, to Newcastle, to the Midlands, you know, huge. And one night the truck drivers used to listen all the way across the country, and they would switch when they got to another station. They would change frequency so they could hear the whole show. And one night when a truck driver said, I'm going to Newark Docks from Glasgow. He said, and I can get you all the way to Newark, right? A few nights later, another gentleman phoned. He said, I'm a truck driver and I'm listening to you. I said, where are you listening to me? He said, the Queen Elizabeth Bridge in London. And I said, tell me this, is it crystal clear? He went, well, yes, it can be. It comes and goes a bit. Now, that showed you that off these very, very powerful transmitters, McClue was booming out in parts of London. I love it. So there we are. But I did move house, Tups were here. I've actually been in 8 houses. That's just this week. No, I had to move house. Amazing. You surely are, Scottie. Emerald, you're some person. I tell you. I like your tiara, Scottie. Well, Jerry, it's more of a tarara. Tarara. There we go. Can everybody go down to the bottom left and click the thumbs up? And have you all subscribed to the YouTube channel? It's very important. I know a lot of you have, but if there's any stragglers listening, please get onto the YouTube channel. Because some of the movies, as I say, last month, 2 million viewers to the YouTube channel. 2 million. Could you imagine if they all sent me a quid? Even although we're not monetized, if anybody's feeling flush, there's if you go to the link, you can buy me a pie. Dee Gourley has bought me a pie and a cup of tea before. Yes. And you can also, there's a wee GoFundMe. It's quite genuine. And you can pop £1 or 2 in there if you're feeling flush. But only if you're feeling flush. You never, ever, 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 ever have to give Scottie McClue anything. So there you are. Never a problem. Would somebody like to phone us up for a wee chat? Tups were here. Are you up for a wee chat? There they are. And D, if you wanted a wee chat, 0141 628 9795. And it's just there. You'll see we've got a new background tonight. Yes, get the thumbs up. So there we are. Thumbs up, Jerry. Fantastic. You pick the best movies for everyone to enjoy. Thank you, Scottie. Emerald, it's very important. And these are, some of them might look a bit obscure. You think, never seen this before. I get people saying, I've never seen this before. It's brilliant. And some of the older black and white ones, you know, I mean, have a look at that. The Clouded Yellow. Fantastic movie. I watched them all myself. Whoa. Bit loud tonight. Hello, live on Scottie's phone in. Who's that?
Oh, good evening, Scottie. Excuse me, Tups were here.
Tups were here, and we can hear you tonight.
Hey, fantastic.
How cool is that? We can actually hear you. It's lovely. Hear you and see you.
That's the best news. Oh man, I think I'm coming down with something. I think I've got the lorgy. So
oh, don't come down. Stay away if you've got the lorgy. Well, I see you're not coming down. All right, I've got you.
Oh God, can you imagine?
Oh, it's coming down with the lorgy. Some say you're not looking wheels, Scottie. What happened? Tups were here. Came down. Give me the lorgy.
Gravel hitting your window, and it's like, it stops like, hey, Scott, you've had a few beers at home.
I had a few beers. I'm just coming in with the flu. No, what I was saying, we wondered about, have you ever had a dose of Alice? Alice. Well, yes, we didn't know what it was, but I read that Christopher Robin went down with it.
Oh, you know, that starts with the are you sure that joke's not a little bit blue?
It's a bit blue. We love it. Wonderful stuff.
I'm only joking. I know you would. I know you're a man of the absolute highest principles.
we need the highest. Do you know, it amazes me, Touchway, but I'll be absolutely honest with you. See, on social media, when people come up and they swear, I think you've just lost half your audience, and I can't send that. And you've got fairly respectable old guys and old ladies on going, I F and Jeff and F and this. And I think, I don't want to hear this. You can get that on any street corner in any city.
I mean, I must confess, I do have a bit of a potty mouth myself, but in the
no, listen, don't think McClue's entirely 100% the clean tatty when it comes to, you know, when it comes to a descriptive word or two. But it's just, we don't need it all the time. Well, yes, I mean, there is that, you see. But of course, not to their face, you understand.
Oh, well, yeah, you know, if I were you, I probably wouldn't be able to.
Well, no, I had to just suck that up big time. You know, they took me out for a so-called lunch, and the guy that actually sacked me was so nervous he knocked over his water. And then he said, just to say we're not going to go ahead with a new contract, and you done your last show. That's how cultured he was. He said, you done your last show. You know? And I thought, oh, well. I said, well, you better get some money on the table. And he went, that's no on offer. I said, well, I strongly suggest you get on offer.
Did they just say, by the way, you've had your last show and that was it?
Yeah, they said, just to let you know, you've done your last show. And then the press went absolutely berserk. The word got out very, very quickly to the press. They didn't put it out, I don't think. The word got out to the press, and the press were going, what happened? What's this about? You know, because it was just such a big deal. You know?
No, I do remember it. You know, back in the day, I'd occasionally catch a copy of the Evening Times or something like that.
Aye.
I'm over it now. I remember seeing it in the Daily Record as well.
I was all over the place, and because, you know, I mean, I used to write for the papers.
Oh, of course.
You know, I used to write for the papers, and you know, we had a full-page column in the Sun.
Yeah, I remember that very well. Like now, it's suddenly come back to me.
Friday, SCOTTIE McCLUE.
Yeah, proper big deal.
And people used to say, if SCOTTIE McCLUE's coming into this paper, I'm off. And the Sun would say, okay, bye.
Oh my goodness. You mean seriously you managed to offend Sun columnists?
For goodness sake. But it was just a brilliant time. And you see, the papers in Scotland in those days change days now. But they were nudging over 600,000 each, the two big red tops.
I'm sure. No, man, I could do 10 minutes in the state of British journalism just now, but I'll just say.
Yeah, it's such a shame, though, but it's not the fault of the journalists, you know. I mean, the quality. See, I can go back. Somebody once asked me, who's the cleverest person you've ever met? And I had to tell them a man called George Ritchie, right? And George Ritchie wrote for The Citizen, and then I think The Record. And the man was just a walking encyclopedia. He was just a genius. And he was the loveliest man, no side to him, George Ritchie. Yeah.
Do you mind just this one moment a shout through to Mrs. Tupsway? I've got a really urgent message for her.
Oh, no, you shout to Mrs. Tupsway and ask her if she's got any tablet.
Along those lines. Mrs. Tupsway, could you make me a drink? Thank you. Oh, she's such a lovely lady.
We'll maybe not publish her reply there.
She said, in fact, I think she's coming through just now. Would you like to speak to Mrs. Tupsway?
Well, I would like to say hello.
Oh, well, here you go. Here's Mrs. Tupsway. No profanity.
No profanity. Hello, Mrs. Tupsway. How are we?
We're very good, thank you.
Are you looking after this man here?
Not really, no.
No. And,
We're doing our best.
and have you done all the high dusting for Christmas?
We haven't ever done it, I don't think.
It would have to be Christmas 2006 when we moved into this flat.
It's all that. I love to say to people, I'll get round to that. They're going, you'll need to do this, and you'll need to clean your windows and take the weeds up from the bit at the front. We'll get round to that.
It's like life's too short.
Absolutely, Mrs. Tuxbury. And I hope you have a lovely, lovely Christmas, you two, because you're beautiful people.
Happy Christmas.
Thanks,
Happy
Scotty.
Christmas. And if anybody tells you otherwise, refer them to me.
Will do. But I'll let you go because somebody, hopefully from America, might phone you.
Yes, they
So-
should. They should phone because they just need to stick in the 44.
Exactly. I will.
I
I'll
got a
let you go,
text tonight from a guy who's in the know, and he said, "We've got to get you on in America." He said, "This country's had it."
Yeah, you could be the new Joe Rogan with like 3 trillion
Get on there.
subscribers.
Get a few trillion subscribers. Get on and get Mr. Trump on for an interview.
I'll do my best. To
See,
spread the word.
tell me this, Donald.
Yeah. Absolutely. You'll be there in Trump Towers using these golden toilets.
Fantastic. All that stuff. Lovely to hear you, Tuxbury, and Dinky-Doo.
All right, take care.
And thank you to Mrs. Tuxbury. Merry Christmas now. Here we go. There we are. What a lovely guy. And that was great. And as I say, he got us out of it last week by letting us know, coming on and testing the lines. Now, what have we got here? So, Emerald, we picked the best movies. Thank you. Need to get this roll and bacon tea. Kat said, lol. Absolutely, Jerry. Yes, you should have had a wee bacon roll. Joy, love the book. Thank you. Thank you for responding across the pond. Bless you. Dinky-Doo, Joy. I tell you, Emerald's laughing here. Lots of laughter. Jerry, what's the number to phone Scotty? What's the number to phone Scotty? Oh, sorry, Jerry. I've got you now. Yes, it's 0141 628 9795. And I think you should give that a call and come on. The old-fashioned ways are the best, says Emerald. Writing letters are a long-lost art. We should all go back to writing a wee letter. Do you remember if somebody gave you something, you wrote a wee thank you note? You know, dear Margaret, thank you so much for the teaspoons. There we are. I tell you, Jerry, I can remember a guy, it was a wee bit sarcastic, but he said, what would you like for your wedding present? And he said, oh, something electric. And he said, do you mean like a chair? Stop! I tell you. Ho, 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 says Jerry. Phone number, Scotty, right? You ready, Jerry? 0141 628. This is if you're phoning from outside Glasgow. Otherwise, you'd be 628 9795. Telephone. You're live on Scotty's phone in. Who's that?
It's me,
It's me. Who's me?
Scotty, #1 van driver.
Jerry. How are you, La?
Okay, yourself?
Oh, better for hearing you, I'd say. What lovely, lovely chat you are. I'll tell you that for nothing.
Thanks very much, Scotty. What you up to then?
Now, are you awfully busy? Well, you'll see I've got a new background tonight. I'm in a very swish place. So there you are. Yes, very,
Oh,
very swish
Must be
place.
in a very posh place, that.
Well,
Scotty.
wait till you see the lamp. Wait till I show you. Can you see that, Jenny? That lovely.
Aye.
Aye. And
Oh,
we've
nice
got,
light.
oh, it's beautiful. And we've got a lovely sofa there. I don't know if you can just see the back of it. Absolutely.
Aye.
Top quality. So there you go. And I had to say, I said, do you mind if we just set up the show? They went, are you going to work on your computer? I said, no, I'm going live to the world. So that was it. So we had to just, and I think it's working quite well, isn't it? Is the picture quite good, Jerry?
Oh, it's perfect, crystal clear.
Crystal
It's better
clear.
than the last time.
You're seeing a lot of improvements. And I'll tell you what else is happening, Jerry. I looked out my window yesterday morning, and here was people digging up the garden. And I thought, I wonder if there's buried treasure here. And it's from the telephone company. They're going to give me more bandwidth. And I'm talking serious bandwidth. So we'll be able to get, you know, other devices up and running as well.
Oh, that's good.
Well, do you know, can you remember, Jerry, you know you can watch us on Catch Up on the YouTube channel on your telly. And some of them, I just caught them one night. I remember somebody said to me very sarcastically once, I said, well, I was watching something on YouTube last night. I said, oh, were you watching yourself? So I had to turn to them and say, I haven't watched myself since 1985. So that was that. Anyway, that put their gas at a peep. But no, I had a look at it and I thought, that's not terribly good. It was a bit pixelated and a bit shaky. And that's to do with the bandwidth.
Aye.
You see, but we're getting there. Jerry, so carry on, sorry.
No, on you go.
No, I was just going to say that a year or two ago, this didn't exist. You know, well, 2 or 3 years ago now, this didn't exist. We couldn't do the phone in and all that stuff. Now we've got everything all singing, all dancing. And once we get the bandwidth, we'll really be able to bring in the nation and maybe even more than one platform, you know.
You should get, maybe after that, maybe get, people might sponsor you as well to get more money in.
Whatever, Jerry, you know, as I say, I don't do it for the money, but without the generosity of the people, I wouldn't have been able to buy these little bits of equipment to get started, you know.
You know, but people like myself are people that are like sitting in their house, like lonely people. I mean, sitting in, you know, people that stay themselves and they're on the internet. I mean, they tune into you and they go, oh, look at this. This is brilliant.
Well, it's just something different. It's just, as I say, I'm a geezer, you know, and you know,
a young geezer.
A young geezer. And when people say, what's your show all about? I say, well, just watch it. It's about everything. About who do you have on? Everyone. You know, well, and I love a show for the people, Jerry.
You've got me, you've got Susan, you've got all the other people that have come on in a Saturday, and that's what makes it.
But Jerry, people can tune into this and hear you, a real, genuine guy. They don't need to watch a politician, a big name being on. You know what I mean? That's not to say I won't have big names on when the time's right, but I also want the people's show. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from Tupsway, from Mrs. Tupsway, from Murray, from Susan. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's brilliant. I think it's brilliant.
You know, get the people on talking, because a lot of people also want to talk on the internet, but aren't quite sure how to go about it.
Sorry, as you said during the week, you've got a lot of people from America, but I didn't know that till you told me when we were talking. When I was driving.
Neither did I till what you call the analytics came in, 25% in America. Now I thought, is that a comment on Scottie McClue, or is it a comment on the quality of the media, the phone-ins in America? You know? I
mean, I tuned in when, as I said, I told you I was in Italy, and I tuned in and you got me, and I said, oh, this is brilliant. I'm watching Scottie McClue in Italy. Bologna.
And you'll remember watching, hearing McClue on the radio in Scotland.
Aye, I used to tune it.
It's just something a wee bit
different. When I was younger, it was different, and then I'm like, oh, hold on, there's that madman Scottie on, he's brilliant.
That's on. Well, I spoke to people and they said, oh, youth following. massive youth following. Said we used to go on a Friday night, all of our pals go to somebody's house and just to listen to Scottie McClue.
Aye.
And there was a footballer,
Aye,
this guy was a multimillionaire, and he had a wee problem with reception out to Argyle way. And he and his wife on a Friday night used to drive up into the hills and sit in the car and listen to the show on the radio.
Aye, to get the reception.
Aye, to get the reception. Great stuff.
Fantastic, isn't it? It's brilliant.
Jerry, love to you and to the cat and to the girls and to wee Coco. And always remember you are a top man.
You're a top guy. Are you doing a show at New Year?
I think we'll do the Hogmanay Bash because it's in its 32nd year. It really took off. We did it from Preston, going out to all of Lancashire and Blackpool and Lancaster and all that stuff. And it went down an absolute treat. The only thing is there, they had the license for the music, so I could play Jimmy Shand, Andy Stewart, the Alexander Brothers, all the things that people love to hear at New Year.
Yeah, but you can play it as well because you're good on the old accordion.
I could play it in the box, but we can't. We don't have a license for the music, unfortunately. You know. But we'll get there. We can't do it on the YouTube because it would be all copyrighted and they would take it out, so you just get bits of silence.
Oh, I see. Right, okay. Right, Scott, you have a good Christmas and I'll get in touch with you in the new year and everybody else is on the programme.
Jerry, and as I say, lots of love to you guys. You're beautiful people. And Dinky-Doo.
Dinky-Doo, it's McClue.
It's McClue.
Thanks later, Scottie.
Dinky-Doo,
bye, Scottie.
Bye.
Take care. Bye. That's
your Jerry there. Great man. A lovely chat. #1 van driver. Now, what have we got here? Page 3, Scottie. Yeah, page 3. Writing letters are a long-lost art, says Emerald. Old-fashioned ways are the best. In many ways, they are. Somebody was on the other day, they were obviously a bit atheistic. And they were going, I mean, what does religion ever teach anyone? And I had to say to them, well, just apart from reverence, respect for others, all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? I tell you, there were your old radio programs were the best, says Saul. So that's very kind of you and nice to hear you on tonight. Absolutely. And behaving yourself. We had to sort you out last week. Scottie never fails to deliver to his people. Beautiful community. Eagerly they are. And you are Queen Bee in the community. Always remember that. Or Queen D, should I say. Long John Silver's just joined us. Hello, Scottie. Hello, Long John Silver. Good evening, sir. Have a cool Yule. Neil O'Gormley, a cool Yule to you, Lala. Have you ever heard this saying? A green Yule makes a fat kirkyard. Right? Now, what does that mean? Who can tell me? Phone us in if you like. 0141, yes, 628-9795. 0141-628-9795. What does that saying mean? A green Yule makes a fat kirkyard. Okay, go on, tell us about that one. You're watching the boxing tonight, Scottie. Tyson Fury. Oh, Jerry, for goodness sake. There we are, the boxing. There's enough boxing goes on in Glasgow. I remember once being in a proper Glasgow pub. And then just suddenly a table got turned over. And I think a glass ashtray got broken. And two boys were and very quickly, two big burly barmen were round and huckled them out the place, oxtered them out. And that was the end of that. And I said, what was that all about? He said, they've been drinking very heavily all day. So it was time they were away. I said, but what was the argument about? He said, I think it was bagpipe tunes. They fell out over bagpipe tunes. I tell you, yes, Scotty, Glasgow Kisses, absolutely. The boxing. Come on then. They all start saying, well, do you think you're big enough, huh? Come on then. Crazy, crazy. Anyway, we don't need any of that, I can tell you. Gordon Sterling, season's greetings to you, McClue. Too much greeting. Yeah, you don't want too much greeting. How's Agnes doing? Is she okay, Gordon? Because I know she's had a rough time of it. There we go. What do we got here? The Glasgow Kisses. Has anybody come back to that? Yuletide. All right. Does anybody know what Yuletide is? And a green Yule makes a fat kirkyard. All right. We need to know what that means. I tell you. Good picture tonight, guys. Good sound. Phone's too loud, or were they okay? I tell you, just about right there. Yes, absolutely. I'll say good evening and welcome everybody. Guys, I forgot to say, this is terrible of me. Supposed to be a professional broadcaster. If you've just joined us, a very, very warm welcome. You're watching Scottie McClue. Hashtag FLOTI, F-L-O-T-I, all uppercase. First Lord of the Internet. Okay, cookie. All good reception, Scotty. Good one, tops. Thank you. Maria Donald says, is it something to do with a mild winter not killing off germs, resulting in increased numbers of Olgins snuffing it? Murray, what can I say? I was going to say I'm lost for words, but you might not believe that. You are 100% correct. And it doesn't pain me to say so, because you're one of the wisest people I've ever experienced in all the time on the YouTube channel. And they did used to ring into the Scott FM, I tell you, but it's exactly to do with that. So Yuletide, the old winter festival, when they stocked up on their nuts, and what else did you have? You would have mulled wine, firewood, you would salt your beef, you would, you would roast, spit roast your boar your spit roast, your suckling pig, your chestnuts. What else would you have for Yuletide? And there'd be a bit of booze involved those days, long before the licensing hours, and you made your own booze, and they would have that, the moonshine, your apples, pickled fruit, salt beef, salt fish, everything for the winter festival, so that you weren't killed just by the cold. And if it was too mild, it didn't kill off the germs. So in those days, like a really worse flu, or tuberculosis, diphtheria, polio, cholera, typhoid. I mean, that's enough cheering ourselves up. But the cold would have killed off these things, and it didn't kill off the germs, so the Olgins would pass from this world to the next. And in those days, they would want to bury them, especially if they were infectious, bury them and just pile the earth up so the kirkyard looked fat. So a green Yule makes a fat kirkyard. There we go, I tell you. Phone calls are sounding perfect, says Emerald. Excellent. Well done, Murray, says Dee. There you are. Dee's giving you the clap, Murray. Fantastic stuff. We like, well, she's applauding you. So there we go. I tell you. No, I've never been one for watching the boxing. Or even, I worked for an ITV channel that was big on the wrestling. Used to see Big Daddy and things like that. And I was never great, but then I've never been terribly big on the sport. But that channel was brilliant because they used to, a very important part of the sports show was the shinty results from the Camarach Cup. And they used to phone in, the reporters would phone me in just before we went live and give me the latest shinty results. Yes, Lochaber versus King Yusei and all that stuff. So there we are. Emerald says 4 thieves vinegar on hand. Now, Emerald, tell us more. This sounds very profound. I tell you. There we are. I hope you're enjoying the show tonight. Scottie McClue, First Lord of the Internet, the world's top broadcaster, and the world's most humble man. So there you are. So no problem there. Nobody could say, oh, he's a blowhard, that McClue. A blowhard. I tell you. I watched a shinty game once. The goalkeeper was wearing a pair of jeans. That's right. It's a wild thing. I have a picture somewhere of my father playing shinty for the army. My father was a shinty player. That man, bravery, courage had nothing on that man. They took him at 18 and put him into every worst theatre of war. And I have a picture, which I think might be up on the YouTube. If not, I can put it up. And it was taken at Sola Airport in Norway in 1944. And it just looks like a guy going out to an aircraft until you look closely. And it's a Dakota. Now, the Douglas Dakota was the name. The reason it got that name, it was a DC-3. And you'll see it in all the old movies and everything. Everything around the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, maybe even the 70s, the Douglas Dakota, because it was DAC from Douglas Aircraft Corporation. See what I just did there? Dakota. So they called it the Douglas Dakota. And it's got my father going out to the Douglas Dakota with his red berries, maroon berry on, the paras. And if you look, you'll see behind the plane he's getting on, all the Douglases lined up, a huge queue of them. So there was a date on the back of it, and I looked up, and it's when the paras, the British paras, relieved the airport and took control of Sola Airport in Norway and liberated the airport. Now, that would have been probably quite a rough house. So they dropped them in, take the airport off the Germans, and free, and then they would want the paras out because they probably had another job for them to do. And he was a lovely man. He was the antithesis of a blowhard. I tell you, I'm an aeroplane nerd. I know the Dakota, indestructible. Totswa, hey, are you not just it and a bit? You and I need to get down to discussing aircraft. Yes, the Tiger Moth. Yes, I remember reading about the guy that was the chief test pilot for de Havilland when they launched the Tiger Moth. And I got shown photographs of a Vickers Vimy bomber, 1929, first flight from London to Cairo. And there was a little note accompanying the pictures, signed Geoffrey de Havilland. How fortunate was I to see that? I've been so lucky in my life, guys. People show me things that are of huge historic interest. I tell you, live long and prosper, says John Donnelly, and you, John Donnelly. I tell you, may the force go with you. Is it, may the force go with you, or may the force be with you? I tell you. So tonight's big prize goes to Murray O'Donnell. It's a flu remover. It removes your flu. And he got that for saying that a green ewe makes a fat kirkyard is a saying about if the weather's not cold enough to kill off the germs, some of the algains don't make it. I tell you, Murray. Tosway says, our soon-to-be nephew-in-law is a commercially aligned pilot. I practically debase myself in his presence. I turn into a teenage girl. Tosway, hey, you know, we should all be doing a bit of that. Woo! She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah! There we are. They jumped with motorized scooters on their back. John Donnelly, are you working me from the back, or is this true? Because my father was also dropped in for Operation Market Garden on Horsa gliders. And the people that were killed on these gliders, oh my goodness, has everybody given us the thumbs up? Bottom left, thumbs up. Have we all subscribed to the YouTube channel? Have we all watched all the top movies that I have selected for you? A present from McClue. John Donnelly, I didn't know that. So motorized scooters, when you say motorized, do you mean like e-bikes? I have given you a firm thumb right up, Scotty. Topsway, you can't beat a firm thumb right up. Thank you for that. Very much appreciated, I tell you. Scotty, are you Santa without the beard? Well, Neil, I shaved the beard off because it was making me look old. You know, Santa Claus. Santa Claus. So he must have been German then. Saint Nicholas is Santa Claus. There we are. I tell you. No, still at 3, Scotty. Thumbs up. Fantastic. I tell you. There we are. We're going to have to go in a couple of minutes, guys. I cannot believe it. What a wonderful, wonderful show tonight. Have you enjoyed it, though? Because you are the people that matters. I mean, I can sit here till the coos come home, as we say in Scotland. I tell you, your beard doesn't match your eyebrows, Scotty. No, absolutely. You're quite right. My eyebrows are still a little bit dark, unlike the tiny bit of hair on my head. Great stuff, Scotty, says Topsway. Do you think we've got a good future in it, Topsway? We'll build and build and build the channel. Well, as I say, great things are happening. So there'll be news in the new year. Merry Christmas, Scotty and everyone. Good night, everyone. Susan, bless you. Merry Christmas to you, my dear. And thank you for joining us. Wonderful show, as usual, says the wonderful Dee Gourley. Bless you. I'll be your manager. 15%, says Topsway. That's no bad. That's no bad. I once had a manager that was 20%, but he was very good. I tell you. Merry Christmas, and to you, Jerry. Bless you, I say. And we've got 1 more minute. I'll maybe sing you the goodbye song. And then we've all got to stick out our tongue and say ta-ta. That's always fun. Blowing a gale now. Good night, all. Good night, John Donnelly. Have a great Christmas, Scotty. Hope Santa's good to you. Murray, thank you so much. You've been very good to me over the piece. And I want you well and up and about. There we are. So there we are. So let's hope it's a frozen Yuletide and a thin kirkyard for everybody. And that's it. Happy holidays, everyone. Yes, and Merry Christmas, Emerald. Yes, indeed. Right. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Take care, everybody, as you go. Goodbye, everybody. Auf Wiedersehen. Au revoir. And a cheerio. Love you guys. Take care. Stick out your tongue and say ta-ta. 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 One more. Ta-ta.